So I've just had a whole entire week's holiday, vacation if you will. Now I did have some time dedicated at the end of the week to spend with my daughter because it is school holidays and we had a whole entire girls' weekend trip planned. But everything else was free time for me to concentrate just on sewing. And I was really excited because I've been so busy at work. I've been leading a big project which finally launched at the start of July. So I was like really chomping at the bit to really get stuck in and just do the thing that I enjoy doing the most, which is sewing. I had a huge list of things that I wanted to make this summer and I couldn't wait to get stuck right into it. So how much sewing did I actually get done last week? Practically nothing. And I'm okay with that. Let me explain. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kate and this is Ripper Seams. Welcome back to my sewing room. It has been a hot minute since I was filming a video in here, but we are back. Barbara is here to keep me company and yeah, excited to be back in this room. Like I said, I had last week off and I was so excited to get so much sewing done. I had grand plans. I so wanted to do it. But once I finished that Andy set, I realized I was really exhausted. And as much as I really wanted to do some sewing, I decided to not do sewing because sometimes it's better to do nothing instead of something. And as a result of doing nothing, I actually think that's made me a better sewer. If you've watched my last few videos, you'll notice that I've had a few fails of late. First of all, it was that Stylark Maryland dress, which I got completely printed out and just didn't clock I was making a complete mess of that right at the very start. But even the Andy set that I made last week, I think I definitely spent a lot more time and fussed over it a lot more than I should have. And when I rewatched my video from last week and just saw how tired I was in that first 30 seconds, it just kind of dawned on me. I was exhausted. And as a result of this, I wasn't in my finest form when it comes to doing the thing that I love. And I was in big danger of starting to become demoralized. And that's a bad thing if sewing is your happy place. So whilst those patterns were definitely challenging on their own level, I think the fact that I was so tired, I just wasn't able to give my full amount of energy and brain space to be able to make those garments be a success. And I didn't want that to continue in my next lot of makes. What I decided to do was once that Andy set was finished, I did nothing. I sat on the couch and I watched old episodes of I Dream of Jeannie and Gilligan's Island. I watched some of my favorite movies. I hung out with my daughter and just played Uno and just kind of just switched off completely from everything. I just got to hang out with my family and the dogs. And that was brilliant because ultimately sometimes we just need to recognize when we need to have a break, especially if we're one of those people like me where you feel as if you have to constantly be doing something. So what I've done is I didn't sew for the rest of last week. I went off and had a lovely time with my daughter for a long weekend, just the two of us, and rode our bikes around, hung out in the swimming pool, did some roller skating, played in the sand. It was really great fun. We ate huge amounts of ice cream. No regrets, and yeah, all really good. I did nothing. I did nothing. So how does this make me a better sewer? I am now fully energized and ready to concentrate on my sewing. I'm not rushing through to get things done. It's also helped me to reprioritize what I do want to sew over the next few weeks because I've been able to let my brain and my body recharge and just think about something different for a while, just relax and not feel compelled to do anything. I feel as if my focus and my concentration and my creativity is actually back fully loaded. I can't guarantee that this won't happen again, but I will be better at recognizing that in future. So if you're feeling a bit flat and making mistakes in your sewing, don't feel compelled that you have to keep sewing, even if it's something that you enjoy. Sometimes we just got to put the things that we love down, set them aside and just say, look, I'm just going to have a little break from you. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be back. Just going to give my brain a break. So I've had my break and straight away I have made something. This is still a work in progress. We'll get onto that very shortly. But yes, my sewing is back in action. I'm feeling energized. So yeah, let's get stuck into what my next lot of plans are. So let's kick things off by letting you know what I hope to sew up as we progress through the next few weeks of August. So we'll start with what Barbara is wearing. She is obviously wearing something very bright and colourful here with this lovely fabric. Now this is actually a toile that I'm making, hopefully a wearable toile, but this is the go-to fit and flare dress by Pattern Emporium. And this fabric is a polyester jersey which I picked up for £4 a metre from Stitch Fabrics. Now I bought this pattern a few months ago and I've been dying to make it because it looked like a really simple pattern to make, and I can confirm it definitely is. So far I'm absolutely loving it. Been having fit issues lately with my patterns, so I thought I'd be sensible and make a toile this time. Obviously the cost of this fabric is quite low, so if I did stuff it up it wasn't going to be too much of an issue, especially since I wasn't too sure whether this fabric was going to suit me or not. I won't be doing a backyard catwalk of this one just because it's not finished yet, and I'll talk about that in a second. Now I really wanted to make this particular dress because it is fit and flare, and if you're a pear shape then fit and flare is your best friend. So what really drew me to this particular pattern was the fact that there is so many different options to customize this to what you want. Obviously the main feature is that it is a dress, but obviously you can turn this into just a skirt, but also there are 3 different front neck options and also 3 different back neck options. So if you wanted a high neck and a low scoop back, this pattern's got you. There's also 3 different sleeve options as well. So many different ways that you can transform this particular easy make dress. It was just way too appealing not to try. Pattern Emporium's great because it goes from a size 6 all the way to size 30, so if you want an inclusive pattern that's really easy to make, this one is definitely one to consider. Instructions are impeccable so far, and when I say I was looking for a quick make, man, this is definitely a quick make. Cutting this out of the fabric took longer than me actually sewing this up. Obviously it's jersey, so you can just whip it through an overlocker if you've got one. Even if you don't, you can just use that stretch stitch on your regular sewing machine, and this one will come up really nicely. So pretty much within an hour I was able to kind of get the dress to this stage. I've done a lot better at getting the neck binding in. That was my big challenge last time I sewed with jersey, but I think I've definitely got that one kind of really nice and evenly distributed around the neckline this time. So what I still need to do is to stitch around that neckline to keep it in place, but also hem the sleeves and the skirt, and then this dress is done. But like I said, this is also a toile, and the reason for that is I wasn't too sure about whether this particular fabric would suit me. I love the fabric. Is it the right fabric for me? I don't know. I did want to see how this pattern came up size-wise, so I thought if this dress turns out, this would be something which I will be making heaps of. So far, I've almost got it right. I have made it exactly as the pattern states. So whilst I've made a size 12 and it's definitely fitting me nicely, I still think there's an opportunity to take it down to a size 10. So my notes on this so far is I'm absolutely loving the silhouette. I could probably shorten the bodice by about 2 centimeters. Not much, but just enough just to raise that waistband a little bit. And I suspect I'm gonna have to take 1.5 inches off the bottom. This is exactly the silhouette I was after for a fit and flare dress, so I can't fault this at all. The sizing so far is great. Like I said, it's fine as it is, just my personal preference would be to tighten it up a little bit, particularly since I'm on a mission to lose a bit of weight at the moment. So I think going down that extra size will make sure that I've kind of got a bit of longevity in that dress. So the only call out I have with this is actually printing out your pattern pieces. So whether you print this out on A0 or on A4, the pattern pieces are a little bit confusing, and I highly recommend, if you can remove the size layers that you don't need, can't recommend it enough that you do that, particularly for the bodice piece. All the different necklines and the armholes are all on the same piece. So there are like 12 to 15 different lines per size, and then you've got multiple lines showing you different places to cut, and they're all overlapping. It gets incredibly confusing. So much so that when I went to go pin the back bodice to the front bodice at the shoulder seams, I found that the back was heaps wider than the front. I went back to the pattern piece and I had a good look at it. I couldn't figure out which line to follow. Obviously I couldn't add fabric back in to my shoulder seam, so I ended up just taking what looked like the most logical line to kind of make those match up, which is why, again, this is a toile, because I don't know whether I've actually cut out the right line. So I have gone and got my pattern pieces reprinted and only getting size 14, 12 and 10 included on my pattern, just to reduce the amount of noise on there so I can make a better decision on what actual lines I'm meant to be cutting out. So really excited to see how this dress will evolve over time. You'll probably see this again in a few different versions. I think this will be a dress which I will just make over and over and over again. Now I did say at the start of summer that by the end of it I wanted a nice big collection of beautiful summer dresses. So as soon as I finish this one here, I'm going straight into making the Darling Ranges dress by Megan Nielsen. So I'm going to be making this few here, which again is a above the knee skirt, but it's also got that full button down placket that runs down the front. Again, I think this is going to be a really nice flattering silhouette for my body shape, and I'm also going to go for the shorter sleeve here as well. Now I have cut this up already and it's ready to go, so I'll probably get stuck into that this weekend, and I'm making it in this lovely cotton poplin. I wasn't 100% certain what to make with it, so it's gonna be a Darling Ranges dress. So I inadvertently already have buttons ready and matched to this fabric already, which are these ones here. So these are a lovely kind of transparent flower. It's going to catch the light, but I think it's a perfect match for this fabric, and I just don't have enough. So my only issue is that I have 6 of these and I'm going to need 9, which means I have to go and get some more. The thing is, it's such a shame. These come from Liberty, which means I'll just have to go back into Liberty to go get some more. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Nope, seriously, Liberty is my all-time favorite store. Even before I started buying fabric from there, it is just my go-to happy place. I just like going in there and looking at all the weird and wonderful stuff. It's quite fun. But now I have a good reason to go because it's shopping, and luckily it is not too far from where I work in the city. So when I go into the office next week, I will most likely stop in after work and pick up some more buttons. I just need to be very good and not buy any fabric when I'm there. Just beeline for the buttons. It's going to be hard, but I believe in me. Next on the sewing plans is another coordinating set, and it is the Saturday skirt set by Friday Pattern Company. Now I normally do have a very good success rate with Friday Pattern Company patterns, so I do hope I continue with my good fortune with them. Now I've had the fabric for this one for quite a while, but it was interesting because Rainbow Fabrics actually brought it back in stock again recently, and they also brought it out in different colorways. So it's been interesting seeing plans other people have got with this particular fabrics, and it is this lovely cotton sateen by Calf Facet. Now this one here I just thought would look really, really nice and bold and bright in that Saturday skirt set with that nice longer skirt and kind of that really nice tie front top. I love the colors with this. I love those teals that are in there and the purples, and I just thought this would look really, really stunning in that set. So hot off the heels of the Andy set, we're going in for another coordinate, and yeah, I'm just excited to finally get this one cut out. I think the original use for this fabric is actually for quilt backing, which means it's extra wide. I think I've actually got 3 meters here, which I think is going to be plenty. I will most definitely have fabric left over, but I have the pattern pieces all cut out, so this is next on the cutting table here. Now I have made the Saguaro set by Friday Pattern Company, which was a relatively okay success, but I made that at a time before I started adjusting the pattern pieces to compensate for my height. So it was a bit long in the crotch and not the best fitting, especially since it was made in double gauze, which kept growing on me. So yeah, this one here being a little bit more of a stable fabric, but still yet nice and floaty. I think this will look really, really nice. So I'm excited to see how this turns up. So as soon as I finish that Davenport dress, I'm coming straight in to make this set here in this just beautiful bright fabric. So next up on the to-do list is something a little bit different, and it's something I'm going to be doing with my daughter. So she has definitely shown an interest in sewing, especially with the sewing machine. She's had a little play with it and she's really enjoyed it. She also is mad keen on dragons. So on a recent trip to Hobbycraft, she stumbled across this pattern here and was really excited and wanted to make them. So these are little dragons you can make, which kind of arch a little bit so they can sit on your shoulder or sit on the back of the sofa or on a cushion, and she is really, really keen to make these. So we've taken a look at the pattern, and I think this is something she can definitely help me out, if not sew herself, under some guidance. So we're gonna have a go at making these. Now we still have quite a few weeks of summer holidays left, so this is something I'm gonna make slowly over the next few weeks. So the first step I've got her doing is cutting out the pattern pieces, which she's done successfully. So I got her to rough cut the pieces out, because what I thought is we're going to make one each, and then I will be there so I could show her on mine and then she could do it on hers. So because we might make a few of these in future, she might want to keep making them, what I thought is if she rough cuts the patterns out, I'm going to get her to glue these onto some thin card and then cut the actual pattern piece out from there. That way we have got these pieces will be a bit more robust should we want to use them multiple times, but also she can use that card to be able to easily trace around the pattern piece and then cut it out from there. It's just going to make that cutting out process just a little bit easier. So the fabric that we're going to use for this is some polar fleece, which I've picked up from Pound Fabric. So I've got 5 different colorways here, a little bit excessive given that these dragons aren't going to take so much, but the thought was that she can make the dragons out of whichever color she wants, and then I can make it out of whichever color combination I want, and whatever we've got left over we can then use for kind of autumn winter makes, whether they be another pogo knit top or any sort of Megan Nielsen Jarrah sweater or any other pattern that comes our way that is suitable for fleece. We're all ready to go and we can just mix and match our colors this way. So multiple uses for this, but we're going to use it for dragons first. This seems like a really nice weight of polar fleece in general. It is supposedly anti-pill, but it was £5.99 a metre. So I've got a metre of each colorway here. I suspect my daughter's going to want the purples. I think I might go for these 2 colors. So what I'll do is I will get her to do little stages of this project over the next few weeks, and hopefully by the end of her summer holiday she will have her own dragon that she has made. Now I will be getting her to sew as much of this as possible herself, and I'm going to set up my old Singer sewing machine, my very basic one, for her to use. She has used it before, so she understands how it starts and stops and all the basics that you need to know, which is a really great start. But I will be supervising as I go, and I think some of the pieces will be a little bit fiddlier, but her hands are a lot smaller than mine, so she might actually do better at it than I will. So yeah, a fun little activity, something different, and yeah, why not? So the only other dress which I'm really keen to finish off before summer ends is something out of this fabric here. Now I've had this for ages, I really love it. I just haven't been too sure about what to make out of it. Purely because I've been speaking with Sam from Sequin Girly Creates, because she has exactly the same fabric. I know she's mentioned in one of her videos that we are looking to do a collaboration on this one. However, there is an elephant in the room with this fabric, and that is how to avoid this effect here if I was to have this on the bodice. I think you know what I mean. It's been a few months since I wanted to make something out of this, and it's been bugging me as to which pattern to suit it. It's definitely been a mission, not gonna lie, but I've actually found one, and that is this pattern here by McCall's, which is M7745. So this is one where it leans into some sort of ruffle design, which is gonna break up that flowery design here, but still kind of make use of that nice voile drapery, but also it's a tie waist as well, so there's a bit of a crossover action going on, which is going to help me avoid any sort of kind of obvious, do you know what I mean? So yeah, this is what we're going for. I think I might be trying view A, which is the shorter version, although I think I do have enough fabric for view B here. So yeah, this is what I'm going to turn this fabric into. I know this is another red fabric similar to what the Darling Ranger's dress is going to be, but this is a completely different design, so I think I'll be right. I'm not making the same dress twice. I've already taken a look at the pattern pieces for this one. What I'm going to do is cut a smaller top and a larger bottom and just grade between the two. That way it's going to fit me nicely. I've taken into account the pattern ease, and yeah, so with all my sizing, I think I'll be right. So those are my revised plans for what I want to make over the next few weeks. I'll be very interested to see how much that I actually get done, also in what order. Obviously this one's finishing up. I've got the Darling Ranger's dress cut up, so that will most likely be next, but everything else will be a bit random. Wouldn't be surprised if something else just drops in there as well, because sometimes you just want to, something just comes through and you just want to do it, so just go with the flow. Right, so those are my sewing plans over the next month or so. Time to have a look at some new fabric, shall we? Now, I have been very good at resisting so many fabric drops of late, particularly rainbow fabrics. They've just been knocking it out the park with stuff, and I've resisted as much as possible. I did pick up a few from them, but I could have easily done a lot of damage online with that one there. Fabric Godmother, of course, keeps dropping more and more collections, and so good. I've resisted as best as possible. But a few things have fallen into my basket and made its way through my letterbox. So this first fabric was an absolute no-brainer for me. This was something that was going to get purchased regardless, because it is from one of my favorite fabric designers, which is Ellie Whitaker. She does such beautiful fun fabrics. My last fabric haul video was primarily from there. I got it sent over from Australia from Spotlight, but she's just done a drop here in the UK through Fabric Godmother, and I picked up this one here, which is this beautiful cotton sateen, which has this quite large picnic gingham check on here, and these beautiful, beautiful flowers on there. Obviously not as outrageous as some of her other prints I've purchased recently, but this one here just made my heart sing. I thought, you have to come home with me. So I have 3 meters of this. It's a lovely cotton sateen. What I like about this is the wider width fabric, which is like 145 centimeters or something. The stuff you get from Spotlight, it's poplin and it's only like 112 centimeters wide. So the fact that this is more of a dressmaking fabric just makes me happy, and I just absolutely love this print. I resisted all the other designs. I know some of those prints have been on her own personal website recently to purchase, so I'm so happy that they've made it here to the UK to be easily accessible. I hope she continues to do that going forward. Totally resisted buying the other ones. I'm very, very tempted, but I've got so much Ellie Whitaker in there at the moment that I think I've got plenty to keep me going. At some point, hopefully be in a position to kind of top that up once I've made a few makes. But yeah, this one here, no brainer, absolutely loved it. Given that I've bought 3 meters, this will definitely be a dress, just gotta find the right one. So yeah, watch this space on this one. Now, as I mentioned earlier regarding my Saturday skirt set, I'm making that out of a cotton sateen quilt back, which I picked up from Rainbow Fabrics. Now, Rainbow Fabrics have gone and dropped another lot of quilt backs on there, and I decided to go and get some more, not out of that calf facet design, but they had Tula pink ones there again. I didn't get this one last time they dropped it, but I did go in and get this one here, which is this lovely hexagon pattern with this rainbow effect color that kind of runs all the way through. I like it because it's got that the carpet from The Shining vibe to it. Our household absolutely loves the movie The Shining, so this is kind of like a little nod to that one. Now, I have a very specific plan for this fabric coming up. It's going to be its own video, so I won't spoil the surprise now, but yeah, watch this space on this fabric turning up again in the near future. So once again, this is a lovely cotton sateen. It's really good quality. So this is the first Tula pink design fabric I got, and the other one was this lovely one here from Tula Pink as well, which has got this lovely turquoisey teal background and these gorgeous big lovely stripy flowers, kind of like peony roses on there as well. Absolutely stunning. Now, I don't have anything particular in mind with what to make with this, but at the end of the day, you can't go wrong with a lovely set of pajamas, and definitely I think this is calling out for a nice set of wide leg pajama pants at an absolute minimum. So I think this is what this will be destined for, probably a bit more of an autumn winter make. So yeah, very, very pretty fabric. So yeah, happy that this has come to stay with me. Now, whilst I was on the Rainbow Fabrics website, I also had a look to see what they had in their extra discounted section, which is this one here, which is a black base with all these fun cowboy boots on it. I just thought it was a bit different, a little bit fun, and something which from a distance you're not too sure what it is until you come up close. Now, my plans for this one is actually to make a dress for my daughter. Now, I've made for her in the past the Style Arc Wilma Teens dress. The Wilma dress is one of those things I made quite early in my sewing journey. I made it in a poly cotton fabric, not thinking it would turn out at all, and it did. And my daughter absolutely loves it. She wears it non-stop. The only call out for it is that polycotton is quite stiff, so all the different layers really kind of stand out, which she doesn't mind. I just think that dress just needs a bit of an update. She can keep wearing that one. She loves it a lot, but I just thought making that Wilma dress in more of a floaty viscose fabric, now that I'm a little bit more skilled and know what to do with that pattern, I think that would be a lot more fun. There is 3 meters here, which will definitely fit that dress. There's probably going to be a decent remnant after that, so maybe she'll get a pair of shorts out of it as well. Tea break. Now, the only other thing that I need to achieve in August is the next installment of the Busy Bee Sewing Challenge. Now, this challenge is a little bit different as it requires a little bit more creativity and thinking because it is the Upcycle Challenge. Now, in the Great British Sewing Bee, each week there is like this middle task that they need to do where they're given something unusual which they then need to transform into a wearable garment. And yeah, this is what the next phase is for our Busy Bees. With this in mind, all the Busy Bee participants have been given a list of 10 things that we can possibly upcycle and turn into something new. What I thought I might do is just let you know what the 10 different options are, but then also create a short list as to what I think I might want to attempt. So glasses to the ready, because I'm going to read this one off. So the first one up is to use 3 old t-shirts to make a new garment of your choice. So that's option number 1. Number 2 is to use up 3 pieces of sportswear to make a new garment. Number 3 is to transform an old jacket or coat into a bag. Number 4 is to make an outfit using up to 5 charity shop garments, all in the same colour. Option number 5 is to transform 2 men's check shirts into a summer garment. Option number 6 is to use old towels to create a child's dressing up outfit. 7 is to transform shapewear into a dress using stretch lace. Option number 8 is to use 3 pieces of animal print garments to create a loungewear set. Number 9 is to use men's ties to create a garment or accessory. And the last option is to transform an old party dress into a daytime garment. Now, the very first thing I'm going to immediately eliminate is the use of 3 pieces of animal print garments, because I only have one and I've only just made it myself. So I'm going to eliminate the loungewear option there, just purely for the fact that I don't normally do animal print. Second one I'm going to immediately eliminate is the shapewear dress with the lace. I don't use shapewear very often. I have very little of it. And what I do have of it, I use, and I'm definitely not going to be picking that stuff up from the charity shop. So that's one that is definitely being eliminated. Men's ties. Now, if I was in Australia and had access to my dad's wardrobe, I would most definitely be able to do this challenge. My husband doesn't wear ties. There are no ties in our household whatsoever. I might be able to go find some from the charity shop, so it's an option. I think I'm going to rule this one out just purely down to accessibility of the amount of ties I would probably need to make something successful here. So they're the ones I'm immediately eliminating from this challenge. The ones that I am interested in doing is the first one, which was to use the 3 old t-shirts to make 1 new garment of your choice. That's purely because I have 2 of them already. My husband has donated them, so I could just go pick up a 3rd one and use those to make something. So that's one option for sure. I don't mind the idea of the sportswear one to kind of make a new garment out of sportswear, but again, I don't have a lot of sportswear, so I probably don't have enough without going to the charity shop to get something. However, if I am going to go to the charity shop, making an outfit using up to 5 charity shop garments all in the same colour is maybe something I could lean into. Now, I do have very good charity shops in the town that I live, so I don't think I'd have a problem picking up anything. So glasses off. So the Andy set, which I made in my video last week, was obviously the reveal video for the pattern challenge that we had as the first installment of the Busy Bee Sewing Challenge. So that was what we did for July. So this challenge here is for the month of August. So whatever I choose from this list, I will be revealing the making process and the final outfit on the 31st of August. So from this list, I think I'll shortlist it to the 3 t-shirts, the 5 charity shop items, or the 2 check shirts. So those are the things that are readily available to me and something I should be able to turn around quite quickly. So from these 3 options, I'd love it if you could let me know in the comments down below what you would like to see me make. Now, keeping in mind that I'm going to give myself a 1.5 hour time limit to make this from scratch. So whatever I end up choosing, I'm going to have the timer on, and at the end of 1.5 hours, we're going to see where we're at. So yeah, what would you like to see me make? T-shirts, 5 charity shop items, or some check shirts into a summer outfit? Go and let me know down in the comments below. So there we are. That is my wish list for the month of August. and maybe a little bit beyond that. Really, really good to get my head a little bit clearer. At the moment, I'm very energized. I've got a full battery to get stuck back into sewing, and really looking forward to see what comes off my sewing machine in the next few weeks. And of course, that will result in some new backyard catwalks as well. Haven't done one this week, feels a bit weird. So let me know down in the comments section below what you thought of my plans for this month. Also, let me know what this beautiful Ellie Whittaker fabric might be suitable for. If you've got a lovely dress pattern you might want to suggest, let me know as well. And of course, if you haven't done so already, please do consider clicking on the subscribe button as well as that notification bell. That way you won't miss out on any future Ripper Seams videos. And if you've liked this particular video, then please go and give me a thumbs up. It just lets me know that I'm doing a good job and I should keep making more just like this one. And with that, I wish you a wonderful week of sewing, and I'll see you in the next video.